a stunning development, an Iranian ally has dealt a shocking blow to America's Iran port blockade, which came into effect on April 13th, according to the US.
Sanctioned tankers are now slipping past restrictions in the Strait of Hormuz, mocking America's port siege. Shipping data reveals a U.S.-sanctioned Chinese tanker on April 14th slipped through the Strait of Hormuz, the first to exit the Gulf since Washington choked off Iranian ports. The rich Starry, blacklisted for Iran dealings, loaded 250,000 barrels of methanol in the UAE and sailed right past the US Navy Cordon. This Chinese-owned vessel, crewed entirely by Chinese nationals, defied the blockade that began just hours ago. Data from LSEG, Marine Traffic, and Kepler confirms Rich Starry made it through, proving the U.S. siege isn't airtight. Another sanctioned tanker, Merlik Kishin, known for hauling Russian and Iranian oil, is now heading inbound, eyeing Iraqi fuel on April 16th. According to a Reuters report citing data by Kepler. These movements raise serious questions. How effective is the U.S. blockade? The report came as Trump claimed Iran is doing, quote, absolutely no business, unquote, amid the blockade.
Right now we have a blockade. They're doing no business. I didn't like seeing boats come out if they were doing business with Iran, but if they weren't, no boats came out. So now Iran is doing absolutely no business.
Reports, however, indicate otherwise, as sanctioned ships keep testing the blockade. Experts warn that enforcing such a blockade is far from simple. One analyst says the success of such a blockade depends on how many ships can be intercepted early, while warning that it will likely be difficult to fully enforce.
A lot depends on the early days of the blockade, how many vessels the Americans can seize, how much they can convince vessels attempting to slip through a cordon that they're likely to be seized. But in all likelihood, I'd say it will prove difficult for the US to enforce.
As Hormuz tensions boil, this breakout signals the blockade's already leaking oil into global markets. Does this mean that Trump's chokehold is crumbling already? With Chinese tankers leading the charge, the strait stays open for business despite the warships. Has Russia formally entered the Iran war after Donald Trump imposed Tehran's naval blockade? Russian Foreign Minister Sergei Lavrov spoke to his Iranian counterpart, Abbas Araghchi, days after the peace talks between Iran and the United States failed in Islamabad. According to Press TV, Araghchi warned against what he called perilous consequences of provocative U.S. actions in the Persian Gulf and the Strait of Hormuz. He said that such reckless moves endangered peace and security not only in the region, but across the world. In the telephonic conversation with Araghchi, Lavrov condemned the US and Israeli strikes against Iran. He asked Washington, D.C. to what he called demonstrating seriousness in advancing the diplomatic process to restore peace and security in the region. Both the foreign ministers called for the need to sustain bilateral and multilateral consultations and to fully utilize the diplomatic capacities to establish lasting peace and security in the region, the Press TV report added. The development comes after Donald Trump confirmed that the US naval blockade of Iran's ports was in effect as of 10 a.m. Eastern Time.
Mr. President, are another round of talks planned with Iran? And if so, will you send Vice President J.D. Vance with?
Well, he's done a good job, and Steve and Jared, they've all done a very good job. And I can tell you that we've been called by the other side. They'd like to make a deal very badly. Very badly.
What was the sticking point over? You said it was over nuclear.
It was over nuclear, very similar, yeah, very good. I guess you're listening. It's over the fact that they will never have a nuclear weapon. Iran, you marking it down? Iran will not have a nuclear weapon. And we agreed to a lot of things, but they didn't agree to that. And I think they will agree to it. I'm almost sure of it. In fact, I am sure of it. If they don't agree, there's no deal. There'll never be a deal. Iran will not have a nuclear weapon, and we're going to get the dust back.
Mr.
We'll get it back either. We'll get it back from them or we'll take it.
Mr. President, as far as the naval blockade is concerned, what's the end game? Is it to force Iran back to the negotiating table? Is it to open up the strait so that gas prices ultimately come down?
Maybe everything. I mean, both of those things, certainly, and more. We can't let a country blackmail or extort the world, because that's what they're doing. They're really blackmailing the world. We're not going to let that happen. And the amazing thing is, we don't, can you believe this? We don't use the strait. We don't need the strait. We have our own oil and gas, much more than we need. We have more oil and gas than Saudi Arabia. Think of this. We produce more. Saudi Arabia, and add Russia to it. Substantially more. And by next year, we'll have double that amount. So we don't need it, but the world needs it. And many ships are heading to our country right now as we speak to load up with the best. Really, I guess you could say, somebody said the best and sweetest. I don't know exactly what sweet is, but when it relates to oil, it's a good thing. But they're coming to our country right now. There are many boats coming to our country. Now, it could very well be this is going to be settled before that. We've been called this morning by the right people, the appropriate people, and they want to work a deal. They would like to work a deal.
Is it your anticipation, Mr. President, that other countries will assist in this effort to blockade Iran and those?
Yeah, other countries are going to also.
Which countries, sir?
We don't need other countries, frankly, but they've offered the services. We'll let it be known probably tomorrow.
Has the blockade started, sir?
Yeah, started 10 o'clock.